It's the morning of the fourth day of our Highway 89 journey. After a quiet and peaceful overnight at the Big Sky Deli, we eagerly looked forward to breakfast from the deli counter inside, and it did not disappoint. Today's drive is once again about 100 miles. We'll eventually end up at the little town of White Sulphur Springs tonight. But the great state of Montana has a lot to see and do. This morning, we'll explore the Great Falls area to see what makes it great, and then we'll head south and see what we can discover as we travel on Highway 89. But first, we need some fuel. It's been quite a while since we last filled up, and we won't have much chance of fuel until well south of Jackson, Wyoming. We found a Love's truck stop on the north side of Great Falls. There was plenty of open parking spots. After tanking up on diesel, we unhooked the Jeep and parked the rig. We packed up Kenai and headed out to our first site, the shortest river in the world. The Roe River runs from Giant Springs to the Missouri River and was the shortest river in the world, once recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records.
You're about to see the shortest river in the country right down here. Up here is a big spring, and this spring pumps out so much water that it actually forms a river, and boom, empties right there into the Missouri.
Crazy.
It is crazy. That's why you got to see this.
Crazy.
In 1987, the river was unnamed, so the 5th grade students at Lincoln Elementary School in Great Falls first had to name it before Guinness would recognize the river. The students named it Roe after the Giant Springs fish hatchery located at the springs. This hatchery primarily raises rainbow trout, whose eggs are called roe.
Over 150 million gallons of water flow from the Giant Springs every day and cascade into the Missouri River.
Once named, Guinness approved the 201-foot-long river as the shortest in the world. But a dispute with Oregon's Dee River caused Guinness to eliminate the category instead of ruling on the claim. So while it's one of the shortest rivers in the world, it's no longer a Guinness World Record.
Lewis and Clark, on their historic expedition to the Pacific coast, discovered this giant fountain on June 18, 1805. In honor of the courage, fidelity, and patriotism of the explorers, this tablet is here and placed in dedication by the Black Eagle chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution of Great Falls, Montana, May 30th, 1928.
We packed up and headed upstream about a mile along the Missouri River to the Black Eagle Dam. It was the first hydroelectric station built in the state of Montana and the first on the Missouri River. It was constructed of timber and rock in 1890 and helped give the city of Great Falls the nickname the Electric City. A second dam built of concrete opened in 1927, replacing the first dam, which is still there, submerged in the reservoir. A couple more miles downstream is Rainbow Falls, which originally was called Handsome Falls by Lewis and Clark when they first arrived in 1805. The height of the falls is now crested by Rainbow Dam, constructed in 1910. Water is diverted to a hydroelectric power plant, which has all but eliminated the water cascade witnessed by Lewis. Not much water going down these falls. We had a little time left, so we returned to town and crossed the 15th Street Bridge to get to the north side of the Missouri River, and drove about 10 miles to Ryan Island State Park. Here, a third hydroelectric dam and power station was constructed in 1915, just upstream of the falls themselves. Another run-of-the-river dams is built on the largest of the 5 Great Falls of the Missouri. Access to the park is by a small footbridge, where fantastic views of the dam and the falls themselves can be seen from the island. Our time in Great Falls was up. We definitely could see why Great Falls is great. With the Missouri River running through the Electric City, it's quite unique.
Bridge lock, door lock.
Bridge lock, doors locked.
Okay.
There's still about 100 miles to drive on Highway 89 this afternoon. We have a known mountain pass to go over as we travel to our final destination, White Sulphur Springs. With a full tank of diesel, we hooked up and headed out, eagerly anticipating the unknown ahead of us.
Okay, because we might have some mountain driving here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll get to the other side.
So yeah, we got to go up and over something, I believe.
All right, we got a full tank of DEF. Got a full tank of diesel. Everything's zeroed. I got 2 miles, so we're good. The odometer. Heading south on 89. Looks like we gotta go down in the valley and then go back up.
On our way up one mountain grade, we came across an overlook of Sluice Box State Park. Created in 1974, it includes the remains of the abandoned towns of Riceville and Albright that once supported the mining of limestone in the canyon. The Montana Central Railroad ran along Belt Creek, which forms the centerpiece of the park, and connected silver mines in the Barker and Hughesville mining districts to smelters in Great Falls.
Yeah, you see where those two people are walking down there with the two dogs?
Yeah, that's the old railroad track. There's 80 trestles that have been torn down to get up to another town here at the top. So now it's a park and a walking path.
As we drove along this central Montana corridor between Glacier and Yellowstone National Parks, we were astonished at the beauty that was all around us. Having left the grassy plains of northern Montana, we were once again back in the Rockies. This corridor is called the Kings Hill Scenic Byway, a 71-mile portion of Highway 89. The Little Belt Mountains were ahead of us, and this byway bisects them. This rocky mountain range, situated mainly in the Lewis and Clark National Forest, contains rolling peaks and expansive conifer forests. We crested Kings Hill Pass with a few raindrops on the windshield. This pass was the second lowest of the 6 mountain passes along the entire Highway 89 route. Although it was not part of the Continental Divide, it did require us to gear down on both sides to manage our speed. The clouds thickened as we drove along the Kings Hill Scenic Byway to our destination. I couldn't help but think that this route, Highway 89, was the best way to travel between the two cornerstone national parks, Glacier and Yellowstone. White Sulphur Springs is a small town full of Western flavor, and it's the anchor community for the byway. Our plan to stop here for the night was to mimic the travel routine of tourists 100 years ago. Their cars traveled much slower than cars do today. The 100 miles between Great Falls and White Sulphur Springs was the perfect stopping point. As we'll see in a minute, the railroad thought so too. But will we be able to find this little RV park? With rain imminent, we followed our RV Garmin to almost disaster. Well, maybe not that bad, but the town's back roads that Garmin led us on were terrible.
Why didn't we stay on the real road, Garmin?
Yeah, this side road looks much better, but they must think this is
Best way.
the best way.
Maybe all the roads down here are closed.
I don't know, the 6th Street looks a little better. We might head out on the 6th Street, maybe?
Yeah, creeping into Groveland.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, we made it. But the clouds above us burst as we drove into our camp spot. We had to wait out the downpour before we could set up for the night. After a light dinner, we took a walk through town to see what it was all about.
Looks in pretty good shape. Must still be in use.
The now defunct White Sulphur Springs and Yellowstone Park Railway had a spur line from here to Ringling, a distance of just under 23 miles.
It's part of Route 89.
Well, they had to get the trains to Yellowstone, but they also had to have a road to Yellowstone.
Yep.
Constructed in 1910, the railroad provided a link to the National Railway Network via a connection with the Milwaukee Road.
They're pretty tattered. Been here a while. But this is how everybody got to Yellowstone before cars.
The railroad was finally abandoned in 1980. A heavyweight coach and a sleeper car sit in front of the station, now marooned far from the nearest rail system. Originally called Brewer Springs after James Scott Brewer, who laid claim to the thermal springs in 1866, it was changed to White Sulphur Springs in 1867 as it became the county seat of Meager County, Montana. It has a total area of less than 1 square mile. Hot Springs Creek rises in the center of town at a local hotel, which offers soaking in the mineralized hot spring. Highway 89 cuts through the middle of town as Main Street.
This, the crazy mountains.
I
'Cause
guess.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. Castle Mountains, Castle Town.
Maybe no longer the best rest stop for today's tourists along the route between Glacier and Yellowstone, it's still a quiet and peaceful place and a good stop for the night.
So we kind of need a visitor center.
What do they have in those boxes there?
They have travel maps for ranger districts. Here's Little Belt Mountain. Recreation travel map for the Little Belt Mountain area.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is the White Sulphur Springs Ranger Station. Lewis and Clark National Forest. Okay, dog. Let's see if we not get run over on this busy 89 here. Oh, puppies. It's getting dark.
It is getting dark. This probably won't come out well, huh?
May not, but sun's setting.
Conestoga. White Sulphur Springs.
There you go.
Okay. Irrigation ditch.
The next morning dawned absolutely beautiful and perfectly clear. It looked like a great day for a drive. Since we didn't unhook last night, it was a quick pack-up before we hit the road again. Conestoga Campground proved to be a very nice place to park for the night. With full hookups and a flat gravel pad, it had great views from the campground for miles. We had a great night's sleep and would definitely stay here again if ever back in the area.
See Conestoga. See White Sulphur Springs.
Oh, sure.
Heading to Livingston.
There's a bee. Whoa, bee. Conestoga, that place was okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Compared to where we were on that hillside,
The hillside
And Two
in
Medicines.
Two Medicine.
that was gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks really far away. Crazy mountains ahead.
We think.
With the crazy mountains in the distance, the first town we drove through was Wilsall. This quiet and quaint town is set in the Shields Valley of the Bridger Mountain Range on land traditionally occupied by the Crow people. The nearby Shields River is one of Montana's prime trout streams, and the Crazy Mountains offer up crazy amounts of outdoor recreation. Every June, Wilsall saddles up for the annual Wilsall Rodeo. It's a 2-day small-town rodeo that draws thousands for Northern Rodeo Association's sanctioned events. There's a lot of fun things to do, like a fireman's breakfast and a parade. Then, just as quickly as it appeared, Wilsall was gone. Back in the grasslands again, we drove into the little town of Clyde Park. It was founded in 1870 as Sunnyside by Texas cattlemen who were attracted to the area for grazing their herds. The Sunnyside Post Office was established in 1887, but in 1901, the post office in nearby Clyde Park merged with the Sunnyside Post Office, then changed its name to Clyde Park. In 1909, the Northern Pacific Railway established a branch line in the town, and in 1912 it was incorporated as Clyde Park. Today, the town is home to the G-Bar M Ranch, a 3,200-acre dude ranch that first opened in 1934. The town is also home to Old Settlers Days, an annual celebration of pioneer history. It includes an art show and a parade. The Northern Pacific abandoned the railway in the 1980s as tourists no longer rode the train to take them to their destinations, and freight traffic now used roads and semis. The eroded rail beds, empty trestle abutments, and rusty rails still exist beside the Highway 89 pavement. It's been a natural evolution to go from Native American trade routes to horse-drawn wagon paths, to trains' rights of way, to smoothly paved automobile roads. Here at this junction, Highway 89 briefly joins Interstate 90, the second northernmost east-west interstate in the continental U.S. We'll take this for a few miles before exiting where Highway 89 once again heads south towards Yellowstone. 89 south. Our camp spot is just south of the interstate, where traffic seems to have finally found us. We quickly park the RV and unhook the Jeep to go exploring. Livingston is the largest town we've seen since leaving Great Falls, but it's still basically a single main street type of town. Then we stumbled onto what we thought were the best burgers on the entire Highway 89 route. Directly on 89 Business, Mark's In-N-Out Beef Burgers was a cool old-time local burger joint.
Thinking
Beef
burger?
Just give me a regular single beef burger, ketchup only. I want fries and a large Coke. Can I have a large Coke?
Yeah.
Only if I can have a bite of your milkshake.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's only open seasonally, and many days it's only open for dinner. Like a lot of businesses around the country, they can't always find enough employees. The burger patties were small, so order the double or triple. The fries were crispy and very good, and the shake was thick and vanilla-y. And it all tasted like Livingston, Montana. Way cool. We're sad to be leaving Montana tomorrow, but Yellowstone is close. We can almost see it from here. Next up, we take Highway 89 into the First National Park. Join us as we experience a scary tow bar issue on our way in. It's always an adventure when driving on Highway 89.